Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys in California. Before I begin, give all praise, its most high Yahweh. Acknowledgement to Earthly Mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge it, Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High bless this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. You're going to see why these other nations have hidden the other books. You're going to see why they've hidden books like Enoch. Anything that they're hiding pretty much just exposes them. What is happening right now was written about in the book of Enoch. Enoch was shown everything that was going to happen from the beginning to the end. And he wrote these down for his people because he knew that his people were going to be getting destroyed by the other nations again and again and again. And I'm also going to show you how Ish does not fit the horrible events that were going to happen to the Israelites. Or we've already been showing you guys that, the fact that they won't allow DNA testing. And then it came to my attention, one of the subscribers, a sister, shared with me that natives don't allow DNA tests to like prove that they're natives also, that they're part of these tribes also. So they ban DNA testing. They don't use that as well. So how is it that you guys are in any kind of a position to be telling people who they are, what they are, where their lineages come from, when you don't even subject yourselves to your own tests? This is funny because there's one guy that the other camps like to debate with, who's always running to talk about DNA. Well, he already knows that that's not even legal in his own country. So why keep using DNA as some kind of you know, a measuring stick as to what you are? Most High knows exactly who everyone is. But let's get into this because everyone loves talking about the valley of dry bones. And the Bible, see, they pick parts of the Bible, books of the Bible, so they can talk about the dry bones coming back to life. But you don't get any information about how the dry bones got to that position in the first place. Those are in hidden books because, see, it tells you who are the people that are destroying the Israelites that got them in that position in the first place. That's why it can't be your church that is all of a sudden being raised. Oh, that's the church. That, what? You guys, the church was the ones that destroyed the Israelites through your inquisitions, through your, chasing them down and destroying them, through your, you use the inquisition to disconnect them from their power. So how can you, again, you want to be the destroyer and the destroyed, and you can't be both. Let's get into this real quick. That's why they love to say things like there's a 400 years of silence between the Old Testament and the New Testament. There's 2,000 years of silence between, the time of Jesus' death and the return of Yahweh Shai. There's just nothing going on in those 400 years, and there's been nothing going on these last 2,000 years. And that's what they're rolling with. But see, all these other nations have all had their opportunity to have Israel under their thumb. That's why now at the end, the Most High makes them say certain things, but not everything, because they all know that they are guilty. There are remnants in each nation that are going to cleave to the Israelites, but all nations as a whole have had our people in captivity. And if they know that, then their people know that as well. So that's why it's like we're running around here thinking that no one knows this stuff. No one knows that they had us in captivity. No one knows who we are, but it's the complete opposite. They all know who we are. They all know that they've all had opportunity to have us in captivity. And they all know that once they see us awakening, that it's a wrap for them. That's why you're just seeing everything like that guy said, oh, the whole world is burning down. No, your whole world is burning down. The lies that you have perpetrated on the world, pretty much on Israel, are coming down. The way that you've manipulated us before to go and pray for you is all coming down, because your time is over with. And I got some guy, I don't know, he's a reverend or pastor or something like that, came in and, used that Galatians 3:28. And I'm like, If there's no such thing as Jew nor Greek and we're all equal, then why are you guys supporting Ish over there in the so-called Promised Land? Why is it that so many churches are supporting Ish in the Promised Land if it doesn't matter? Why do you guys, support? Why do you guys send them, billions and billions of dollars every single month? Why is that then? If it doesn't matter, or it just doesn't matter when it's us, when you realize that we're the people, all of a sudden it doesn't matter. But for the last 70 plus years, it's mattered. You guys, we staunchly support Ish. We staunchly back Ish. Whatever they say, we're gonna go with Ish. You see what I'm saying? But you say Galatians 3:28, and it doesn't matter. So you guys are just speaking out of both sides of your mouth. You know it matters, but you want to support the people that you have established as Ish, and that you have put in the lands, just like you want to support all these other natives and all these other people that you have supported and you made a covenant with. We know that the natives have to go to their councils who have to actually get approval from the government. That's when some people say, "Well, I'm a Cherokee, and I've been recognized by the government." Oh, okay, so you're recognized by the government. So that makes it true, because our government hasn't been lying to us about anything, right? Just like your history books now, and all of a sudden with CRT, right? You guys, you don't even want to actually talk about your guys' history. It's called a critical race theory, but it's how is that a theory when it's the facts? It's the things that you've done. They always want to talk about, how things happened in the past. I was watching this video, and I guess there's some country singer who had a video in front of like a town hall or whatever else, but I guess 100 years before that, they lynched a guy there. So, and he was talking about, well, I didn't know that had happened. This and that. That's a black news channel. It's Doc something, I forgot it, but he's like some black Republican dude. This shows you that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. This guy's just making excuses for these people. He's gung ho, hardcore Republican, and it's just funny because I'm sitting there just listening to him, and he's like, "Well, that happened 100." The black guy saying, "Oh, this happened 100 years ago. Who goes back and checks what happened 100 years ago?" The Most High. The Most High has kept meticulous records. So just because you guys want to say, "Oh, that happened a long time ago," and a country singer, I forgot his name, he said, "Well, man, there was a lot of horrible things that have happened here. I'm sure if you go in front of, pretty much all of these town halls, I'm sure if you look back, there's going to be things that happen in front of every single one of them. Probably horrible events happen." I'm like, "You're right, exactly. That's exactly our point." And you think that time has absolved you from responsibility, and that could be the furthest thing from the truth. How do you know that? Look at what's happening to your country right now. Look at what's happening right now. Everything is falling apart. Did you do anything recently anything different now that you did before? No. You're still the same racist people, still the same racist country. So why was it okay back then for you to do it and get away with it? Well, all of a sudden now, there seem to be repercussions for everything. After 2019, everything's falling apart. Why is that? It's because your time in rulership is done. All these sins that your ancestors have committed have to be paid for. Now, all you guys keep saying, "Oh, I'm sure you could find horrible things if you look back." If you look back in front of all these buildings, you're right. And you know what the Most High is about to do? Look up Numbers 35 and 33. This is what the Most High. See, just because you want to believe that time heals all wounds, it does not. Time absolves you from everything that's happened to us. And you're not going to have to pay for this. That does not. Okay? Numbers 35 and 33. And this is what you guys did. You guys polluted the land by lynching us, killing us, and never giving us any justice. So the Most High is going to have to, fix all this. He's going to have to cleanse the lands. And how does he say he's going to do that? Most High says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. And the blood cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." See, you guys don't want to cleanse the land because you already know what that entails. That entails the Most High is going to have to spill your blood, and you don't want that. So you just ignore what's to come. So yeah, and then the guy whose channel this was, I'm gonna have to get that guy's. I was gonna do a video. I might do a quick little video just on his stuff. He was talking about, well, the black guy, because he's just they love him. He's the right kind of black guy for these white guys, white people, because he's just making excuses for them left and right. And he goes, Morgan Freeman was he was talked about. They gave him an interview. They did an interview with him, and they were talking about like how would he, pretty much get rid of racism. And Morgan Freeman would be like, just stop talking about it. Just stop talking about racism. You're white, I'm black, but we're pretty much all the same. You just stop talking about racism. Also, that's how you're gonna fix it, Morgan. Just stop talking about it. See, these are the kinds of black people they want around because they just let them be pretty much happy and content with their lives. So the fact that they've been raping, robbing, murdering for hundreds of years, stolen all of our resources, passed them down to generation to generation, they are set up in this society, have been set up in a society, enjoying life deliciously. So all they have to do is we all just have to agree to just not talk about it. See, that's what allowed them to live so happily. That's what allowed them to live the way they do because they have not talked about it. That's what they've already been doing. But now they just want to trot someone with a black face out there to say exactly the same thing that they've already been doing. So just try out Morgan Freeman. We've paid him enough money. He's been in enough movies. He'll say what we want him to say. Yes, boss. Sure, I will, boss. He's just acting, just like he acts in a movie. Same thing now. That is no way to fix what has happened to our people. Just ignoring it. Especially when you guys have sat here and you've done these horrible things to us, and then you've hidden it, but then you've known about it, and you just lived as if it never happened. Now you have many of your children are just oblivious now to what is coming on the world. Why is this stuff happening? We're supporting Ish. We're good Christian folks. We go to church every Sunday. We give 10%. We go to Africa on trips. We go to Christian schools from K through 8. We go to Christian high schools. We go to Christian colleges. We come out and become pastors, and we marry good Christian folk. Why is all these things happening to us? Yeah, man, because that's all a lie, bro. That's all a lie. How you treat Israel is how you're going to be judged. And you treated Israel horribly, and you still do today. This is what you serve. Might have a pretty, handsome face, really soft looking, demeanor and everything else. But under all that, this is what you serve. You serve the left-hand side. Jump in real quick to the Sefer. Now it says, then he asked, Son of man, can these bones live? Ezekiel 37. Now, they never tell you how these bones got like this. We were a strong people. We were the Most High's chosen people. And someone took us down. Someone destroyed us to the point where there was only bones left. Book of Enoch, chapter 13. I'm sorry, chapter 39 from the Sefer. Okay? And I observed during the time, and thus 37 shepherds, there's 70 shepherds that had their opportunity with us. But this is up to 37 shepherds were overlooking, all of whom finished in their respective periods. Okay, as the first. Now, this is why no one tells us the truth, because they all know they've all had their opportunity to destroy us. So no one's going to tell us. Just like the Arabic dude, he talks about Ish not allowing us to not allowing the Israelis to do DNA tests, but then he goes off on some weird tangent at the end, trying to hide who has been destroyed even more than the Muslims, who had their churches burned, who's been going through horrible times more than everyone else. He doesn't want to tell you that part because he was part of our demise. He's been part of our destruction. Which is why it's so important for them to, on the news cycles, show the Ish and the Palestinians going at it, Ukrainians going at it, and always trying to get us to look at them and feel sorry for them and give them our prayers. Because all of these nations have already had us under their control. And now it's time for him to raise up his people, and they don't want that. They want you to concentrate on them still and not concentrate on yourselves. So again, others then received them into their hands, that they might overlook them in their respective periods, every shepherd in his own period. Afterwards, I saw in the vision that all the birds of heaven arrived: eagles, the avis, kites, and ravens. The eagle instructed them all. What is the sign of all these Edomite countries? The eagle. Showing you right here that the eagle instructed them all. Who's been the one that's been on top of us this whole time? The Greeks, the Romans, and the revived Roman Empire. And they run around with that eagle in the front of them all the time, because the eagle is the bird that instructs all of them. So again, the eagle instructed them all. Now you can do your own research about that eagle in these countries, okay? They began to devour the sheep, to peck out their eyes, and to eat up their bodies. The sheep then cried out, for their bodies were devoured by the birds. I also cried out and groaned in my sleep against the shepherd which overlooked the flock. And I looked, while the sheep were eaten up by the dogs, by the eagles, and by the kites. They neither left them their body, nor their skin, nor their muscles, until their bones alone remained, until their bones fell upon the ground, and the sheep became diminished. There's your valley of dry bones. That's talking about Israelites. Not talking, and it's talking about with the Roman country, the Roman church, the Pope, Catholicism, the harlots, all of them are guilty of. They're all guilty of destroying the Israelites. That's why they call them the Roman Catholic Church. And all of the harlots underneath them, all were responsible for the destruction of the sheep. This is why you got your whole sheep and the goats at the end. They don't want you to know this. So therefore, we don't mess with Enoch. We don't accept Enoch. Yeah, because it damns you. That's why. So that's huge right there. The eagle instructed them. They began to devour the sheep, to peck out their eyes. You took away our knowledge, took away our understanding, disconnected us from our power, made it illegal for us to follow our laws, statutes, and commandments. And eat up our bodies. The sheep then cried out, for their bodies were devoured by the birds. I also cried out and groaned in my sleep against the sheep, which overlooked the flock. And I looked, while the sheep were eaten up by the dogs, by the eagles, and by the kites. They neither left them their body, nor their skin, nor their muscles, until their bones alone remained, until their bones fell upon the ground, and the sheep became diminished. So again, I observed likewise during the time the 23 shepherds were overlooking, who completed in their respective periods 58 periods. Okay, and it goes all the way to 70. But this is what happens at the end, which is what you're starting to already see happening. Yahweh opened the sefer of destruction, of that destruction which the last 12 shepherds wrought, and pointed out before Yahweh of the sheep, that they destroyed more than those who preceded them. Excuse me. I saw also that Yahweh of the sheep came to them, and taking in his hand the scepter of his wrath, seized the earth, which became rent asunder, while all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep. See, there's that separation. There's that separation. You guys are going to get removed from the Most High's people. So again, in his hand, the scepter of his wrath seized the earth, which became rent asunder, while all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, which closed over them. I saw too that a large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against all the beasts of the field to slay them. But all the beasts and birds of heaven fled away before their face. Now, this sword, again, take away that S, and it's like the word. Have we not been given the word back? Have we not been given our word back? Have we not been going out in battle with these other nations, with the word, with the truth? And what are they doing right now? See, before, They were still trying to have discussions, go back and forth, trying to prove their point. But now they are just fleeting away. They are not even trying to defend, their actions of their churches, the history of their churches. You're still going to come with a verse here, a verse there. Man, please. We already know about all those verses, and we already explained what those verses really mean. We're not going to waste our time going back and forth with people who have very limited to no understanding. Okay? That's not what we're going to do here. Talk about your history. Talk about the things that your Inquisition. Show us how that does not fulfill prophecy. Show us that. Not, we're neither Jew nor Greek. Okay, then why are you supporting Ish? Tell Ish that. Hey, man, we don't got to give you any more money. We don't got to support you. We're all the same. We're all God's children. We're all Abraham's seed. Tell Ish that. Because as soon as you start to support them, just like this whole country does for the most part, then that whole Galatians 3:28 goes out the window. Because you'll support one group of people, but then when we prove to you that those aren't the people, and they prove that they show you themselves that they won't even use DNA to prove it. I'm not taking your word for anything, because you lied about absolutely everything. You still call me African American, which I'm not. You can't prove that. If you can't prove who I am, you can't prove who you are. I'm not taking your word for anything. So right there, and I saw too that the large sword, a lot of language, a lot of words, a lot of information, many books, a lot of understanding. The Holy Spirit has came and brought all things back into our remembrance. So that large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against the beasts of the field to slay them. Yeah, we're going out here, we're slaying the lies. We're destroying your lies. All the foundation that you've set up this whole country on has been nothing but a bunch of lies, and the Israelites are bringing that to bear. We're destroying all these lies. And what do you do? Are you trying to are you fighting to defend your lies, your foundation, your churches? Is that what you're doing right now? What does the Most High say? Right? Because but all the beasts and birds of heaven fled away before their face. That's exactly what you're seeing going on right now. And I saw a throne erected in a delectable land. Upon this sat Yahweh of the sheep, who received all the sealed seraphim, which were open before him. Then Yahweh called the first 7 white ones and commanded them to bring before him the first of the first stars, which preceded the stars, whose form partly resembled that of horses, the first star which fell down first, and they brought them all before him. And he spoke to the man who wrote in his presence, who was one of the 7 white ones, saying, "Take those 70 shepherds to whom I delivered up the sheep, and receiving them, killed more of them than I commanded. Behold, I saw them all bound and standing before him. First came on the trial of the stars, which being judged and found guilty, went to the place of punishment. They thrust them into the deep, full of flaming fire and full of pillars of fire. Then the 70 shepherds were judged, and being found guilty, were thrust into the flaming abyss." There's no war here. There's no fighting with the Most High. When he decrees that your time is over with and it's time to pay, he's going to just release those scrolls and it's game, set, match. That's it. So this shows you how we got to this point. It was these nations that have the eagle, right, as their representative. They love using that eagle, right? The Roman eagle. Roman Empire, revived Roman Empire. People who are down with these people. People who have made a covenant with these groups. This is why the Most High has brought this truth out, and the other nations are running, fleeing. They have nothing to say. And that should terrify anyone who's been in these churches. Because you're seeing that they cannot prove anything that we are bringing out wrong. Because it's all truth. Thank you, Father, for giving us this knowledge and understanding. All praise the Most High Yahweh. An acknowledgement of Earthly Mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge Yahweh Shai. Shalom.